Namaste and welcome to the ninth episode of our Gita study. It is very inspiring and encouraging to study along with all of you. So, in the last episode, we were discussing about soul, and we will be continuing this discussion about what is soul and how does it act in accordance with nature and the God. So, soul is covered by body, and this body is divided into two kinds of bodies, that is, gross body and the subtle body. The gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, which is called Pancha Mahabhut, and the subtle body is consisting of mind, intelligence, and false ego. So this subtle body, we will be discussing it more when we'll be speaking about Panchakosh in our coming videos. But this subtle body, it saves 5 things that a person does in his human form. So the first is the unfulfilled desires. The second is the credits of the pious activities that he does. Then all the impious activities that he does, the credits of that also, or other debits, that is also saved in the subtle body. Then the fourth thing is the smriti, the memories, whatever he has seen, whatever he has heard, whatever he has tasted, whatever he has touched. So all those memories are also saved in the subtle body. And the fifth thing is whatever penance or austerities he has done to achieve perfection in life. That is called sadhana. So all these 5 are saved in the subtle body, which determines his future body when he reincarnates, when he takes a new body. So at that time, these 5 factors actually determine which kind of body, where he will take birth again, and at what time. And accordingly, the cosmos also responds. So when a child is born, the planetary systems and their positions, the nakshatras and the planets and the zodiac signs are taken into consideration to understand that person's temperament and also his future activities. Then, so this is all about, so we are talking about the soul. Soul is also individual. It has got its own form. Just like this shirt has got 2 hands. So, why does the shirt has 2 hands? Because I have 2 hands. In the same way, my body has 2 hands because the soul which is holding this body has 2 hands. It has got all the limbs, it has got all the senses, but those senses of the soul are spiritual. Just like we have got this eyes. So these eyes are nothing but lenses. They are actually the instrument of the sense called eye. The actual sense eye is somewhere maybe inside the brain, and these are just the lens. Just like when I'm driving my car, there is a glass in front of me which protects me from air and all the dust coming inside the car. And when it gets muddy, I cannot see anything on the screen. I have to use the wiper. And suppose even if the wiper is not working, I pull down my side glass and I can see through with my own eyes. In the same way, when this eye is not working, I means the soul still has got the eyes, which has got vision. There was an interesting video which I saw of a blind lady who was blind by birth. From birth she couldn't see, And suddenly at the age of 40, she met with an accident and an object struck her head and she got sight for a few minutes. Now getting sight after 40 years, that is also very fearsome. So she was completely afraid. What is happening? What is this experience? Something she was seeing, but she couldn't understand what it is. She was afraid of her own body. She was saying, what is this big thing trying to attack me? And then somehow she had the sense of touch all these years. And she touched her finger ring, which she recognized. That, oh, this is the ring. Oh, so this is my hand. And this is my body. And okay. So like that, she realized that sight that she was receiving, which the Lord arranged in her life, but for only a few seconds. And then again the sight went, but then as she was remembering that small part when she was actually experiencing sight, she was getting into great ecstasy. So the sight of the soul is always there. Somehow this body, the instrument, it is an instrument, and when it starts working, we can see. Whenever it is allowed by the Lord, we can see. Another characteristic of the soul is that it is a part and parcel of the absolute truth, the ultimate whole. Some call him God, some call him Allah, some call him Bhagwan, some call him Krishna. So Krishna is not the name of a person who was born 5,000 years back. No. Krishna is the definition of God. Krishna. So Krish means all attractive, and Na means one who gives happiness to every living entity. So we, soul, are a part and parcel of God. This soul is very active. It has got a free will of its own. So the Lord, as Paramatma, as super soul in the heart, he doesn't intervene with the free will of the soul. It allows to take decisions. It allows to choose the activities which have to be done through the body. And the soul, the super soul, doesn't intervene. Super soul allows the soul to take his own decisions. The super soul is always present in the soul. So this body consists of the soul, and the soul consists the super soul. In every living entity, there is the super soul. The pains and pleasures of others I cannot experience, but the super soul can experience the pains and pleasures experienced by everyone. So what is the benefit of this knowledge? Soul, super soul. I can quote an example, and this is what is given in between 39th verse and the 53rd verse of the second chapter, which we are covering. So what is the benefit of this wonderful knowledge of the soul and the super soul? There was a drug peddler, and the police was chasing him. Somehow he was running away from the police, and he reached an ISKCON temple. And the devotees are always welcoming anyone who comes to the temple. And they started telling him about Krishna consciousness and how he should become a devotee of the Lord. And he said in the mind, if you are allowing me to hide here and save myself from the police, I'll surrender my life to you. So he said, yes, I want to become a devotee of Krishna. Please, never separate me from you. And he started living in the temple. He shaved off his head. He started wearing tilak and dhoti and kurta. And he started gaining the knowledge every day. He got up early in the morning and attended the Mangal Aarti. And he started learning Bhagavad Gita. Slowly he realized this is the effect of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. He realized that he was living the life of futility. and there is a higher purpose in his life. He actually surrendered after 2 months to the temple commander. He said, actually I'm a drug peddler and I just came here to save my life. But now after hearing this and after taking up with this sadhana and having prasadam from your temple, my life has transformed. I actually want to really surrender. The temple commander said, for that, first you will have to surrender yourself to the police. You agree, you accept all your crimes, and then take the punishment, then come back to the temple and then live a free life, free from the police and free from the clutches of material nature. He did that. He surrendered himself to the judge, and the judge said, okay, now what do you do? He says, I get up early in the morning, I take cold bath, cold water bath, I chant, I study scriptures, I distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. And the judge said, this is worse than jail. So you are free, you can go and do your Hare Krishna. So this transformation is the effect of the knowledge that he got in the temple. The second benefit of this knowledge is that one becomes free from lamentation, fear and illusion. Just like Arjun, he was completely in fear and lamentation. He was in illusion. But after he heard the Bhagavad Gita, he became confident. He became fearless. He went back into his profession and he was a successful warrior. So this is the effect, the benefit of the Bhagavad Gita. Then also there is a sense of brotherhood which is naturally created. Recently we had this war between Ukraine and Russia. But what were the devotees living in Ukraine and Russia doing? They were serving the spiritual food, prasadam, to everyone. So they were somehow so much into, fearlessness and a sense of brotherhood that they still wanted to serve everyone in the world. So this is a great effect of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And then the ultimate benefit is that we achieve the very purpose of life, the perfection of life. And that is what? That is love, harmony. Otherwise, even if we become a great famous person, we are stinking rich, but then we ask the question after that, now what? I have achieved everything, now what? The life is still empty. That emptiness is felt if you don't have love, loving relationships, harmonious relationships. So therefore, when we get this knowledge, we understand who we are and what is the real need of the soul, and that is love, and who is the reservoir of all love, and that we understand the very purpose and the very source of love, and that is God. And we understand God completely through the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, no one can understand God completely. Bhagavad Gita is only to make us understand that God is ununderstandable. But how much ever we understand Him, we become completely satisfied. And then we become very active in this material world to serve Him. And that is what Krishna was speaking from verse number 31 to verse number 38. The pros and cons of fighting or not fighting. Krishna says, if you fight and if you lose, that means you die, you will still get heavens. And if you live and if you win, you will get a kingdom to enjoy. And suppose if you don't fight and if you just run away, you will incur sin for not acting in the right way. You will get infamy. All your enemies will laugh at you. So you will incur infamy. That will give you dishonor. So that is not a good thing to do, and therefore you must fight. So And then he tells how one should become sthita prajna. So he is free from all material desires. And then when he acts, when he is free from material desires, he becomes actually effective. He becomes satisfied in his self alone. He doesn't need family, but he serves the family. Then he becomes equipoised in happiness or distress. Whether people are good to him or they are evil to him, he will always be the same. So he is equipoised and he is free from all kinds of attachment, fear, anger, and all kinds of negative feelings. So this is a great achievement.